Did you know that there is a recession coming, or maybe it's even already here? In fact, you can see Nico, my boxing trainer in the background there. Very powerful Finn from the land of Finland. And obviously, we're at a new angle as well. This is the God angle. And then this is the BJ angle. So we're going to go back to the God angle for now because I don't have a better place for my fucking camera. And it would be time to actually get into the content of the day. So I just was perusing Twitter, and you know that things are very boring when I'm doing that, and came across this post, which is, you know, representative of, I think, a lot of the sentiment on Twitter, in the sense that recession bad, Bitcoin or traditional markets down, Bitcoin down, blah, 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 blah. And perhaps that is true. I have a lot of comments on that, however. Anyways, this type of shit on Twitter is my absolute favorite. Now, I don't know this person personally. I don't know Whale Chart. Maybe he's a great guy. I don't know. Maybe he just uses ChatGPT to pull up stuff like this. Who knows? Who knows what happens? In fact, that's what most of what Twitter is. Anyways, but this post just perfectly illustrates it perfectly illustrates the hilarity that you see on the interwebs, where people do the absolute fucking bare minimum and do not check things. What they want is confirmation of their current views, not new information. Or at least I think so. Anyways, in this case, he's showing a chart of the 4-week moving average of U.S. bankruptcy filings. He goes on to say that bankruptcy filings surged to dangerous levels. They've recently reached levels on par with the Great Recession in 2008 and 2020 COVID pandemic. Okay, fair enough. This indicator often suggests that the economy isn't performing well and has historically always been followed by massive stock market crashes. Okay, sounds pretty fucking bad, right? Well, let's actually go into the data and see what it looks like. I need to remove my my face for this one to show that he is first quoting the 2008 Great Recession. And you can see that this indicator fired off here just after 2009, actually. Just after 2009. Or you might even say right here, perhaps, just before 2009, but still kind of one and the same. Realistically, the big spike here was above that trend line, which was just after 2009. Okay, what actually was happening after 2009? As I put my rat face back on over here, and you can see just after 2009, the market fucking bottomed. The market fucking bottomed. Literally on the bottom. Literally on the fucking bottom. Literally on the fucking bottom. Coming off of that, historically bad times. Then he quotes the 2020 COVID pandemic crisis. Fair enough. Again, this one firing off, looks like just before 2021. Okay, interesting. All right. What happens in this case as far as the chart goes? Well, it happened over here. This was the low, 2020. Markets went straight up for the next couple of years, as you can see. And, well, let's just kind of measure this one out. I'm actually curious for myself from bottom to top. A clean, almost 120% move. Not bad. Fair enough. Anyways, this particular indicator is firing off yet again in the beginning of 2023. And what do you know? If we go back into the charts over here, where was the low thus far? End of 2022. So beginning of 2023, end of 2022, again over here, beginning of 2021, or bottom was in beginning of 2020. And then, of course, this one over here, again, same sort of thing. So it just goes to show that, people generally do like the least amount of actual, just the smallest amount of research would have kind of negated something like this. So I thought that was rather interesting. Now, this is not to say that I don't believe that the economy is going to enter into a recession. I believe it already was, actually. They changed it. No one seems to remember this. Okay, maybe not no one seems to remember this. That sounds very egotistical, but I feel like this thing just went completely unnoticed, and sometimes I forget as well. But in 2022, when the U.S. was about to print its second quarter of negative GDP growth, which is the traditional definition of a recession, the U.S. government came out and changed the definition. So if you're going by that prior definition, which all of these prior iterations over here were, and in fact, everything really was, then there was already recession. And fair enough, it happened right before here. It's just, it's funny, man. It's funny. It's funny. No, it's not funny, Krown. That's a recession, and a recession is terrible. No, a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose your job. So fair enough. Anyways, let's get on to Bitcoin here. A few interesting things with Bitcoin. I wanted to follow up over, I think we spoke about this one on Friday last. I think we spoke about Bitcoin on Friday last, honestly. Yeah. Daily time frame did confirm that hidden bearish divergence. Also a bit of a head and shoulders on the daily RSI, and the 2-day time frame is doing the same thing here as well, actually. So short-term downside more likely. Bitcoin probably coming back down to the September lows, I suspect, or somewhere around there. 25.5 isn't out of the question in this case. Again, I remain with my overall analysis that as long as Bitcoin's above, basically the low of September, like the actual low of September, it's still a range-bound market. And I suspect that this month will still close more or less unchanged sideways. Keep in mind that the month did open 25.9 basically. So, oscillating a little bit within this region right here is not anything super crazy. What would be crazy is obviously coming down below about 25 and closing below there. That's where things start to get pretty nasty, I suspect, for the boo laws. Anyways, in this, a little bit below 25 to be exact, 24.8 I would say would be the obvious number. Anyways, going back into it, I did want to go over the lower term time frame HPDR ranges. You can see that they are. This thing is just fucking magical, man. This is my favorite indicator by far. Anyways, HPDR getting rejected right at the average of the range, coming down to the current low side of the range, which is 25.9 so far. Finding a little bit of a short-term low there. I'm not saying that that's like the low, just short-term bounce basically. That is to say that Bitcoin is generally in trouble here as long as it is below, I believe this is Sunday's high, which is 26,750. That is to say that if Bitcoin can pop back above 20, let me just make sure again. Yeah, 26,750. That would be a clear and obvious indication that we do see a actual pretty strong low over here, and Bitcoin very likely to march its way back up towards the highs of September, probably make new highs after that. But as I said in yesterday's video, unlikely to happen in September. I do think that the upside is more or less done for September. October is really what the boo laws have to look forward to next. Anyways, yeah, so I figured now would be a good time to go over stochastic momentum, just kind of see where the higher term time frame pivots are now coming in around, because I think that there's some interesting things going on there. Again, to the point that the more that Bitcoin boo laws, or the more that Bitcoin just kind of, trends sideways here for eternity without really, breaking this month's low nor breaking this month's high, it will naturally have a bullish reset. The weekly stochastic also has come all the way down now to the critical zone and will turn up if Bitcoin does on CME close above 26,200. That'll be the end of this week, by the way. So that pivot has come down another $1,000 from last week to this week. So rather significant. 5-day time frame for CME is probably going to be closing tomorrow night. I expect that pivot comes closer, but currently at 27,300. Spot price action still pivoted at 25.5. So even if Bitcoin does come around 25.5. Technically speaking, I mean, wouldn't be super concerning. It's just closing below there on like a 4-hour time frame, or sorry, a daily is where I think that I would start to really consider like, hey, Bitcoin boo laws might be in trouble here. Then at that point below 25, okay, trouble times for boo laws. But still, this trend line working for the last year and a half now, or kind of year and a half from about June of 2022 lows, getting connected with the October lows, which was the lows, or sorry, not the lows, but the low before a major bounce, and then December lows, and then more recently the June lows, and perhaps gets another trend line test over here. And then of course, if we go down to the 2-day time frame, we can see that this one is actually going to be crossing the downside. I do want to reference CME on this one. Yeah, 130 is the one that I kind of trust. So far up. Daily time frame going to be showing downside pressure below 26,350 upon today's closure, and 12-hour time frame as we head into the medium and lower term time frames showing downside below 27,320. 6-hour time frame also down below 26,320. Actually, same number right there. Should be denoted that it is getting into some pretty critical territory, and might be playing out a regression from these lows here from August connected with September, and maybe again here in late September. But going back down, 4-hour time frame, going to be showing same thing, downside in the critical zone below 26,350. You're seeing that number pop up many times. Mainly that's because Bitcoin was literally going sideways there for for a very long time. And hourly is showing downside below 26,250. So short term, Monday, I do suspect that Bitcoin probably does try a little bit lower. The question is, does Bitcoin get anywhere lower? In this case, 4-hour time frame closing below 25,900. All right. Next area of interest, I would still be looking at about 25.5. Below 25.5, that's where things get a lot more interesting, not for the Bullars, but for the Bears. And then, of course, just anywhere below these September lows, I'm going to have to turn quite bearish myself. But for now, you can kind of see that the higher term timeframes are operating all around those very low critical regions. Lower term timeframes looks like they have, strength maybe for one more try to the downside. The question is, how does it respond again at this region right here, 25.9, and then again at 25.5 for the daily. And other than that, just a long way of saying more sideways here above 26, generally going to be favoring the Bullars. Below 25.5, big warning flags. Below 25, warning flags confirmed. Or, I guess it would be 20, this spike low over here, which is 24,850 or so. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today. I want to be wishing everyone the best as always. Let me know if you like this new angle or if I should figure out a new angle. I really don't know where to put the fucking camera here. It's quite annoying, actually. So we'll leave things off right there. I'll be coming back again tomorrow. And with that said, I'd like to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.